to my video this week covering the 2016 Skate Canada International, the second competition of the Grand Prix series. I'm going to apologize in advance because this video may be shorter and seem more rushed than my videos normally do, but that's because I did not have time to watch all of the competition live. I've had a rather busy week and a pretty busy weekend to the point where I thought I couldn't film this video at all, but I thought that a short video is better than no video at all. So I hope you all forgive me. But let's get right into this video. Let's discuss the men's disciplines first. So Canadian skater Patrick Chan was able to win the gold medal here in his hometown of Toronto/Mississauga. And I would say this is a huge achievement for him, considering he did not even land on the podium at the last World Figure Skating Championships in Boston. It all started with his short program, where he was able to successfully land the quad toe in combination. He did so in the long as well. Unfortunately, I think he got too excited in his short program that he ended up falling on his triple axel. So that was a mistake that Patrick Chan doesn't want to make later on in the season. But he should be thankful that he was still able to be in first place after the short program because Yuzuru Hanyu made so many errors. We will discuss that later. But the music choice for his new short program I actually like. Blackbird is a lot more lighthearted than what I'm used to seeing Patrick skate to. I'm used to seeing him choosing music pieces that are slower, more lyrical, because that suits his style of skating. We see that portrayed in the long program where he skated to a piece composed by his fellow Canadian teammate, Eric Radford, and that was a beautiful piece of music as well, and Patrick just skates it so well with his deep edges, deep knee bend, like super smooth gliding. We all could watch him do crossovers for an hour and still be amused by his skills. And the long program, he was able to do enough to win the competition as a whole. He did place second to Yuzuru by some 8 points, I believe. So he landed the quad toe in combination again. That was great. Unfortunately fell on the quad sow. At least it was rotated. I think he intended for another quad toe in the middle of his program, but ended up popping it into a triple. The program slipped away from me towards the end when he started popping his jumps. I think he popped a triple Lutz and a triple flip. So at least they were doubles and not singles, but I became disengaged after those two mistakes in a row. But overall, as I said earlier, Patrick has something to build off of. I'm pretty sure he really wants to land that quad Saucal, and he's going to fight to not pop his jumps at the end of his long program. We'll see how his new training environment with Marina and also teammate Nathan Chen, we'll see if that benefits him later on this season in his other competitions. So moving on to the next skater, we have Yuzuru Hanyu from Japan, reigning Olympic champion. And he did not perform well. Granted, he won the silver medal here. He went for the quad loop in both segments of the competition, unfortunately. And not only did he fall, so you get a 1 point deduction for that, but he also received a downgrade versus an under rotation. So that's a big loss of points. When you get a jump downgraded, it's the base value goes way down to the next lowest jump. So it was given the points as a triple toe. Oh no, as a triple loop because he did the quad loop. And then it's required to get a -3 GOE from all of the judges. So big point loss for Yuzuru, but you got to give it to him for going for the high risk element. In the short program, I just wish he was able to land the other elements cleanly, but he was not. He did bounce back in the long though, to win the silver medal. I think even though he got the quad loop downgraded, he was able to land a very beautiful quad Saucal. And what else here? So I'm looking at the protocols because my memory's not that great. And he didn't pop as many jumps as Patrick did, or any. And so that's what kept him in the running. I'm not really worried about this performance from Yuzuru Hanyu because I think he'll peak later on this season. Let's hope the Grand Prix final or Japanese Nationals. But not only do we want him to peak at the right time this season, but I also want pacing to be like considered, because I don't want him burning out before the most important competition of the season, which is Worlds. So I'm not sure about this quad loop strategy in both the short and the long. What do you all think? I would say let's do it in the long, but I would like him to set himself in a strong position after the short program, especially in a major competition. But if he's going up against Javier Fernandez, who's successfully doing all these different quads in the short and long, maybe it'd be good for Yuzuru Hanyu to attempt the quad loop in both. I don't know. This could be a big discussion. Let's move on. So I wrote down notes on Kevin Reynolds programs because I caught up with him last night. So Canadian skater, really good for him to win the bronze medal. We haven't seen him on the Grand Prix circuit in some time, so it was good to see him kind of come back. I forgot that he was kind of known as the quad kid. I watched the program, so I was like, oh, another quad and another. So he landed 3 out of his 4 attempted quads in the long program. That's just huge. So his tech score was a little higher than Patrick's, but he gave away points in that segment because all of his spins were level 3 versus someone like Yuzuru Hanyu who had all level 4s. So that's something that Kevin needs to work on. His component scores are also in the low to mid 7s. So if he wants to kind of move up to the next caliber of, top men in the skating world, he's going to have to work on his artistry along with his multi-quad programs. But overall, it was kind of nice to see 2 Canadians here on the podium for the men's discipline. So what should we discuss next? Let's go to the ladies. No surprise, Evgenia Medvedeva, reigning world champion from Russia, won the competition in the style that I think she's used to winning. A lot of triple jumps, backloading that short program, arms above the head. Granted, she was not perfect in the long program. She did good enough to win the competition. I'm not sure if you all could tell, but I'm not really interested in Evgenia Medvedeva. I can acknowledge that she's super talented, has amazing technical ability, but I'm kind of getting bored with the judges overscoring her in every competition. She's a great skater. It's not as exciting for me to watch anymore. That long program to the 9/11 piece was not my cup of tea at all. I absolutely do not think it was appropriate to do the voiceovers in a long program. I did not enjoy watching it. Kudos for her to doing what she does and getting the judges to score her well again. I think that's all I'm gonna say. Who else I thought was pretty overscored here, unfortunately, was Kaetlyn Osmond. And I say unfortunately because I tend to not like skaters who tend to be overscored. But I am a fan of Kaetlyn Osmond. So she's had kind of an up and down career so far. Had to deal with a really bad injury a few years ago, even to the point where she did not make the world team last year. But she came out with a bang with her short program. Her jumps look good. Maybe the triplets, I always question the edge, but she didn't get a call there. I think that the score of 74 after the short program for Kaetlyn Osmond was a little too high. Considering she hasn't been a world medalist. She wasn't even at the World Championships last year. I understand rewarding a clean program and a good performance in your home crowd, in front of your home crowd, but 74 was kind of too much for me to take. Kudos for Kaetlyn, though, for taking advantage of the opportunity, because some other skaters would not be able to do so. In the long program, I'd say Kaetlyn had the same level of energy. A little more mistakes. The landings on some of these jumps were not great, and she ended up falling on a jump as well. However, after all was said and done, she did win the silver medal here, which was a good way for her to return to competition after last season. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes for Kaetlyn. I'm going to be watching her scoring. I want to know what her score would be if she skated a short program that was not held in Canada, because that was quite the Canadian bonus that was granted to to her this weekend. Who I actually thought should have been in second place overall was Japanese skater Satoko Miyahara, who won the bronze medal here. Interesting competition for her. So I like both of her programs, especially the short, beautiful dress. And the short program, the judges were not nice to her, period. Let me see if I can look at the protocols. Okay, so I have the protocols up now. And for the short program, Satoko Miyahara was in 5th. Let's see, in her triple Lutz triple toe combination, her triple toe was under rotated. And then in the triple flip, she got an edge call with an under rotation. So they really hounded her on the tech mark at Skate Canada this weekend. And, that must have been tough for her to take. The long program, thankfully, she did better, but the judges were still tough on her. She got her step sequence called invalidated because it was either not, the step sequence was not long enough or not full enough, but that tech collar was really difficult. I'm glad that Satoko Miyahara was able to win a medal, but I really thought that it should have been a silver. So I'm actually now getting curious of what the Grand Prix final will look like. I think Satoko has a good chance winning a bronze medal to qualify. Let's hope. Some other ladies to discuss. I did catch the ladies live, so let's see here. Sad for Mirai Nagasu of the United States. It just wasn't a competition for her. Her programs are growing on me, especially the long program. I'm more of a fan of her short than her long. The long is growing on me, but I think it needs more choreographic content. But the jumps just were not there. So many under rotation calls, short and long. And then Alaine Chartrand, I was actually rooting for her to do well here. And she struggled, not getting her triple Lutz triple toe combination clean in the short program really sets her back. And then having small errors in the long program, didn't allow her to move up to be close to the podium. But it's interesting. I like Alaine Chartrand, but she never really skates well at Skate Canada. She has done well at other Grand Prix events, such as Rostelecom Cup. So I think that's something for the Skate Canada Federation to consider. I think the home crowd pressure is a lot for Alaine to take. And I think that's all I can remember about who stands out to me now. I guess I can mention Elizaveta Tuktamisheva of Russia. It was actually good to see her back. Good to see her landing her jumps again. And she's no longer overscored in the program components, which is a good thing. And I think what else to say about her? She finished 4th here. I think it was a respectable 4th for Elizaveta. Needs better choreography. I'm just going to say it. Her programs have always kind of looked empty to me, but even more so now. And she doesn't have the glory of the triple axel to kind of excuse, the lack of artistry in her programs. But I'd say if she can build off of consistent skates, work with some good choreographers for later this season or next season, that she could very well be a medal contender again for Worlds next year. We'll see. I'm speaking so early. I could be so wrong. All right, so now time to discuss the pairs. Congratulations to Meagan Duhamel and Eric Radford of Canada winning the gold medal here in their home country. I expected them to win. They always do so well at Skate Canada. It's no question, but we can still talk about their performances. I really like their short program music. It's something new and something edgy and different for them. It worked really well for me. I loved seeing Meagan in the pantsuit. I think she looks really good in that. And the big highlight of their short program was that they went for the throw triple axel and landed it. Wow, that is really impressive that they went for such a difficult element in the short program. But kudos to them. And then in the long program, they went for the throw quad Salchow. Was not as successful. She ended up falling on that. And then they seemed a little tight throughout the rest of the program, but they still performed well enough to win the competition, as I expected. Huge point lead margin for them in this competition, as I expected. Let's see if I can look at the details here. So the overall score, yeah, so Meagan, Duhamel, and Eric Radford had a total of 218. And then the silver medalists, Xiaoyu Yu and Hao Zhang, had 202. So that's like 16-point difference there. It's a big deal. So Meagan and Eric were really on a level and league of their own here. So I thought it was a fight for the silver medal for everybody else. Now let's talk about the Chinese pair, newly formed pair, not new skaters though, of Xiaoyu Yu and Hao Zhang. I actually thought they worked really well together. Xiao Yu just needs to sell it a little more in the face. I didn't think she looked happy all the time. Not that she looked sad, but hopefully a clean performance here, relatively clean performances, could boost their confidence and allow them to skate with more freedom and less inhibitions in the future. Because I think the switch has potential. It was an odd decision by the Chinese Federation to kind of mix and match existing pairs, but we'll just see how the results turn out long term, and I wish the best for everybody. So this Chinese pair were able to be in second place both after the short and the long program. So if they can build momentum off of this, maybe they could be medal contenders in the Grand Prix final. That's really tough. If you haven't gotten the the trend yet, I really am a big fan of underdogs. Sometimes it's a bad thing because I set unrealistic and high expectations for them. But I can't help it, it's what I do. Now, we need to discuss the bronze medal winners here because I actually really disagreed with the results. And it's unfortunate because I do like Dylan Moskovitch and Liubov of Canada who won the bronze medal here, but they had too many mistakes in the long program. They had two falls that I did not think they deserved to be on the podium. I really would have given it to Haven, Denney, and Brandon Frazier. Kudos to, by the way, to them for skating a competition 1 week apart from each other. They skated at Skate America, last week, and had a short turnover to prepare for Skate Canada. That must be so difficult to do as an athlete. I understand that in long program that Dylan and Liubov had the edge in terms of the component marks. I get that. I just don't think it should have been that much of an edge. I almost feel like the small margin of 2 points that they won by in the overall score was the Canadian bonus awards. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? I hope it's not just me. Granted, I am very Team USA, but I really did like Haven and Brandon's skate. So even though they made a few more technical errors than they did in Skate America, I actually liked their performance here in Canada this weekend better than last week because I thought they were growing into their program more, gelling well with each other, feeling the music out, more connection with each other and the music. I'm reading on Twitter, a lot of people seem to think it's a snooze fest. I actually like their long program music. So let's hope that they train really hard and do well at nationals because I do want to see this pair at the World Championships this year. That would be really great. Okay, now let's move on to dance. So, not gonna lie, dance, I only watched a few of the programs on YouTube, but I have some things I'd like to comment on. So, obviously, Tessa and Scott are back. They won on Skate Canada. I think they kind of have to, right? They're just that good of skaters. I love their Prince short program. Love, love, love so much. Now, the long program I was able to see, but only without the audio because of the copyright laws on YouTube. So there's a little bit of disconnect between what they're skating to and not hearing the music. But I can comment on that. It seems really weird that they are just slightly above Madison, Chock, and Evan Bates of the United States. So their programs I was able to see. So I like Madison, Chock, and Evan Bates. I think Madison is a great performer. I think she sells it with the face. I understand that her skating skills are really weak. Her edges are really shallow. And comparing the two teams side by side, there's a difference in skating quality and projection. I almost want to say it's a difference in like star power. Like, the way Tessa and Scott carry themselves is way more regal than Maddie and Evan do. But it's interesting, and Madison, Chock, and Evan Bates, so they barely missed out on the gold here, which was interesting. But also, their total score, was boosted by like 8 points from the Neville Horton Trophy, which they last performed at. And I'm not sure that much has changed in their skating. So that's something interesting to think about. I think politics is in the works here with the judging. And I am excited to kind of keep an eye on this for the rest of the season. I promise next time when I watch Ice Dance, I will be able to talk about, more of the program elements, but not today. And congratulations to Piper and Paul of Canada for winning the bronze medal here. Exciting skates for them. I'm not the biggest fan of the short program, like the long or short dance, but I like the free dance a lot more. And I think that does it for this recap. Again, friends and skating fans, I apologize for not going into great detail as I usually do and seeming a little more scattered brain, but I hope you all forgive me. I will try to be back next week for another recap video, and I will see you all then. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.